Hi everyone. So today we're gonna read the essay Unusual Normality by Ishmael Bea. If you're not sure how to get to this place that you see I am in here on your screen, then go back and do Monday's work, and we talk about how to get here through class link. If you did Monday's work but you're still not sure how to get here, you can get hold of me and I can explain it to you. All right, so as you read, you have some options. I want to show you these things up here real quick first, or at least one of them, and then I guess we'll come back. So if you are someone who likes to listen as you read, you can click play audio, and it will play for you the audio, obviously. So Unusual Normality, Personal Essay by Ishmael Bea. The reading, this audio is going to skip anything that isn't the title and author and the essay. So that means it's going to skip this background information, which it's only like 3 or 4 sentences. I highly recommend you read it. It's going to skip this setting a purpose, this little notice and note thing, and it's going to start here. I came to New York City in 1998. I was 17. You can pause the audio anytime you like. So once you click play, he'll start reading. And then when you want to react to the text, either by making an annotation, which we talked about yesterday, or by doing the assignment, right? You can just click audio again and it will pause. This is just a toggle button. It turns the audio on and off. I'm going to come up and show you a couple more of these in a minute once we've made a note. All right, so here's the background information. Read this. It's worth it. It talks about the fact that he was a child soldier in Sierra Leone. He was forced to be a child soldier, and then when he was 12 years old, or his parents were killed when he was 12, and then what he's doing today. So read that for more detail. It's interesting. Setting a purpose. As you read, pay attention to the author's reflections on the person he once was, right, and how he tried to fit in his new place. Notice and note. So we've been practicing with notice and note for the last couple of weeks. So you can stop here and annotate. So when you notice the signposts, you should highlight and mark those up. But I would say don't reserve annotation just for notice and note, right? Not just for the signposts. Anytime you notice something, you're reading and you have a question, you are this something reminds you of something else, or you think it might be important later, or oh, this now I see why blah blah blah. Maybe it's the answer to a question you had earlier. Any of those things, take a second, it's worth it. Click pause if you're listening and annotate it here. I'm going to show you how to do that down here. All right, so as you're reading or listening as you're reading, either way you're reading, you're going to get to these orange boxes, and that is where you're going to react to the text. So pause if you're listening, and then do whatever it asks you to do here. I'm going to do this first one for you as an example. Make sure that you do it also in your digital copy of this. All right, annotate, it says. So we're going to analyze voice and tone. We talked about voice and tone yesterday. So annotate, underline the author's thoughts shown in italics. Highlight 2 details in paragraphs 5 and 6 that caused these thoughts. All right, so this is asking me to do 2 things. Let's take it one at a time. Underline the author's thoughts shown in italics. So here it says, and I thought to myself, what a great omen, fresh new start to everything. This, in italics, are his thoughts. So I'm just going to highlight it here, but it's not really highlighted. It's just, temporarily highlighted. The directions say to underline, so I'm going to click the U to underline. Now I could add a note if I wanted to, right? I don't have to. I can just exit out and it's underlined. The second part says highlight 2 details in paragraphs 5 and 6 that cause these thoughts. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to highlight a couple things, but really when you read these first few paragraphs, it's going to make a lot more sense to you. So, what a great new omen, or what a great omen, fresh new start to everything. Well, what made me think there was a great omen and that he was getting a fresh new start to everything? Here we left and went into Manhattan, and that evening we went to Kmart after we had Chinese food and a fortune cookie that said, "You're about to have new clothes." All right, so that evening we We went to Kmart and had Chinese food. This is a pretty big deal. So when I do the temporary highlight, I can click any of these colors. It's up to you if you want to color code different things or whatever. I'm just going to go yellow for now. All right. We went to Kmart after we had Chinese food. It doesn't read like a sentence like that, but that's what I highlighted because to me, this is a fresh new start, right? Once you read what his life was like before, there was no way in his old life he was going to go to Kmart or eat Chinese food. That just wasn't happening. It wasn't even possible for him. And then, what about this great omen part? How about the fortune cookie said, "You're about to have new clothes," right? You're about to have new clothes. So now I've done this annotate part. Analyze says, how does the author's syntax and word choice reveal his attitude about and outlook? So yesterday we talked about syntax and diction, right? Diction is word choice, and syntax is the way an author puts their sentences together. Do they write short, choppy sentences? Do they write long, complicated sentences, right? And word choice is just what words do they choose to use, right? So here I'm going to look at how does the author's syntax and word choice reveal his attitude and outlook. First of all, I would say his attitude and outlook right here, what a great omen, fresh new start, is very positive. So how do his sentence structure and word choice reveal this? Well, I noticed that this right here where it says fresh new start to everything, this is a sentence fragment. So I'm going to underline it and maybe I'm going to choose a different color. And I can add a note here. Sentence fragment. I just noticed it, so I'm going to note it, right? A sentence fragment. And I'm going to save and close. And I'll show you how you can see those later too. Fresh new start to everything. So he's using, and that's not the only one. He has some other fragments here. This, even though it looks kind of like a sentence, because it starts, and we haven't really learned this too much, but here you go. Because it starts with a coordinating conjunction so, and it's not followed by an independent clause, right? There's no comma and then an independent clause. This is a fragment as well. So I'm noticing that there are a couple of fragments, right? Sentence fragment. Why? Why would he be using sentence fragments? Is it because he doesn't know any better? I doubt it. He's quite educated. I'm sure he knows he's using sentence fragments. And in a piece of writing like this, sentence fragments are okay. Remember, we don't use them in academic writing, so when we're writing for school. But in a personal essay like this that is written outside of the classroom for other purposes, sometimes we use them for a reason. So he has those. I noticed his word choice too. That was the other thing it asked us to look for, syntax and word choice. He has lots of positive words. So I'm looking at things like a beaming smile, right? That's very positive. Very positive. We laughed. Look, this is another one that's really positive. What else do we have? Like even like great omen, fresh new start, these are positives too. So here I'm going to answer the question, how does the author's syntax and word choice reveal his attitude? I'm going to say Freya's word choices are very positive. Maybe the fragments show that he's excited. Think about when you're excited in real life, you're not writing, you're talking. When you're super excited, you might be speaking in short, choppy little sentences or sentence fragments. Sometimes you're speaking in run-ons because you're really excited. But either way, this is going to be my guess. This is what I think is the right answer. And as long as I'm trying and not writing something that's clearly just nonsense, But hey, I'm trying to answer it and I'm thinking about it. I'm reacting to the text. I'm going to be okay here. All right. So then here at this point, you would click play audio and continue to play the audio and listen if you were doing that, or you would just continue to read and then you'd pause it or stop reading and do this next thing. Now, you're going to get through these things much faster than I did because I was doing a lot of explaining as I was going. And so no worries about that. Reading it without doing any of the work takes 17 minutes if you're listening, and he reads slowly. So if you're reading on your own and you're a quick reader, you can read it even faster than that. And then when you add stopping to do the work along the way, this is why it's a 2-day assignment. All right, I want to show you something up here. So you can play the audio here. You can turn the audio on, read highlights. Here where it says notes, now that I've put some notes in, you're going to see them here. So here is what I highlighted in the text, and here's what I noted about it. Here's what I noticed, and here's what I noted. I noticed this here, and I made a note about it. That's a sentence fragment. Beaming smile, and I noticed that it said beaming smile, and I note that that's a very positive thing to say. We laughed. I didn't note it, but I know that that was another really positive thing, right? So all the little highlights or underlines or anything you've done, all your annotation, you can see it here if you click on notes. To get rid of it so that you have a bigger reading screen, you just click it again to turn it off. All right. All right. So there's that. Continue on. You're going to scroll down. You're going to read and or listen. Well, you're going to either just read or read and listen until you get to the bottom here, and that's the end of the essay. Now, mine has the left and right buttons, and I don't know if yours will or not. I don't think it will, but if it does, you don't need to click left or right. The end of your assignment is at the end of the scrolling down. It will continue to scroll down until the end of what I've assigned. So once you reach this very bottom part and you can't scroll anymore, you're done. If you have questions along the way, please contact me. I'm happy to help, and have a great day.